be talking about that should be adhered to. So before we proceed, let's just kindly take the etiquettes together. So the very first one is that we have to ensure that our microphones remain muted, except when we are invited to speak, in order for us to maintain decorum during the meeting. Secondly, we would advise that we use the chat box responsibly for questions, for comments, and for observations. So if we have any question in mind, we can do well to use the chat box. Then during the Q&A session, the question and answer session, participants may either raise their hands or drop questions in the chat section, I mean to say. So we can either use the chat box or raise our hand to ask any question. The fourth one, please let us maintain professionalism and mutual respect throughout the course of this meeting. And then the last and not the least, please let's avoid distractions. Let's maximize this opportunity wisely, stay fully engaged to maximize the benefit of today's program. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Rachel. I want to also remind every one of us who registered for this program, if you saw someone that is not here yet, please reach out to such person joining. Very resourceful program, and we are done the year. So just remind them to join the co-lead for the academic committee in person of Mr. Biliamin. Mr. Biliamin, are you on the call? Mr. Biliamin, are you on the call?
Yes, I'm with you.
Okay, please go ahead with the welcome message. Thank you.
All right, good evening, distinguished girls, our panelists, and my fellow young surveyors. For those of us that don't know me, I would like to introduction about myself. So just like our moderator has said, I'm Sulaiman Biliamin Oyiwole. So, and I'm the co-lead of the academic committee of YSN Lagos. And on behalf of this academic committee and the entire YSN Lagos, it is my honor and I am very, very excited to welcome us all to this edition of our Scholarship Clinic series. We call this Scholarship Clinic 3.0, and I must really thank you all for taking the time to be here today, because your presence here has shown your sheer commitment, and then it also shows your global relevance to the surveying profession. So our team for this Scholarship Clinic 3.0, just like we have been seeing in the flyers going around, and the team is funded, prepared, and global. This team, we designed this team deliberately because we discovered that we have many talented young professionals in surveying and geospatial science. These people, they have the skills and they have the ambition to compete globally. But what's the problem? They don't know the roadmap to access these funded opportunities. And that is why we have designed this team to be funded, prepared, and global. And I believe as we are going, we will get to know why we have designed this team in this way. And I want to assure us today that this session is about closing that gap so that people will be able to know the roadmap to access the funded opportunity. Because this evening, we'll be hearing directly from elite panel of the Erasmus Mundus and Mastercard Foundation scholars. These are the people who not only secure fully funded scholarships at the top universities, or let me just say at the top institutions. But they have also successfully transitioned into global leadership. And of course, they have taken part in many research tracks. So they have walked the paths we want to walk, and they are here with us today to show us how they have navigated the scholarship space. So this panel session is going to equip us with three things: the knowledge, the guidance, and the strategies. So they will share us from the pool of knowledge they have. They will guide us through the process from start to finish, from the application to acceptance, yes. And then they will share us the strategies we need to take. So, because our goal is very, very simple as we are here today, because we believe that by the end of this webinar, everybody taking part, everybody here with us, we live here with a clearer vision and a more actionable plan to pursue international scholarship. So please, let us listen actively, let us take notes, and let us come ready with our questions during question and answer session. So we have the panelists that are here to engage us, though they are ready to engage with us directly. Before I go, please, I want to extend my sincere appreciation to our distinguished panelists, because it's an honor. So, and we thank them for honoring our invitation and sharing their time and expertise with us. So their willingness to guide us reflect the spirit of mentorship we have in YSN. So, and I would also like to appreciate the executive of YSN Lagos. Thank you very much for believing in us and for allowing us to do this. And I will be insincere, or let me say, I will be unjust without appreciating my ever gallant academics committee. So, because we have been working together, I would just call them forces behind success, because without them, we may not be able to. The possibility of this webinar wouldn't have come true, and we thank God for that. And I thank you very much for making this platform possible. So, and to everyone joining from across Lagos, Nigeria, and beyond. So, thank you for investing in your future by being here. So, and with that, without wasting much of our time, because we don't want to waste anybody's time, and we want us to achieve our aim. So, we welcome us once again, and I hereby declare this Scholarship Lane 3.0 officially open. So please let us learn, let us engage, and let us prepare to go global. So thank you. Let's enjoy the session.
All right, thank you very much, our old lead, Mr. Benjamin, for that wonderful welcome message. If you're just joining the call, please send in your full name and your location, just for us to have a record of everyone joining. Thank you very much. So right now we go to the introduction session. We'll be introducing our guests individually, and we have some members of the academic committee that are going to be doing that. So to introduce Mr. Oluwadara Adedeji, Mr. Hosseini Kodi from the academic committee is going to be doing that. Mr. Kodri, are you on the call, please?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you can go ahead. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Savio Awudi and Samuel. Good afternoon, everyone. So my name is Hosseini Abdul Kodri, one of the members of the academic committees. So I will be taking the profile of Mr. Adedeji Oluwadara. Dara is a PhD candidate at University College Dublin, Ireland, under the Research Ireland Centre for Research Training in Machine Learning program. He is a multi-award-winning scholar and recipient of several scholarships, including the prestigious Mastercard Foundation Scholarship. He is passionate about community development, volunteering, STEM education, and mental health. Mr. Oluwadara Adediji, please kindly unmute your mic and say hello to the audience. Thank you.
Thanks, Quadri. Good afternoon or evening, everyone. So my name is Dara, and I'm very honored and privileged to be here. Thanks to the academic committee for inviting me to this great session.
Thank you, sir. Over to you.
Hello?
I'm talking to my.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Okay, I guess the network. Okay, so we'll go ahead to introduce our next person of Mr. Ridwan Waheed. And to do that, we also be another wonderful member of the academic committee in person of Ms. Adela Antonia. Ms. Antonia, if you can hear me, kindly unmute your mic.
Yes, I
and
can
do.
hear you. Good afternoon,
Okay,
sir. And good afternoon, everyone. My name is Adeola Antonia Oyetunde, and I will be introducing Mr. Ridwan Waheed to you. So, Mr. Ridwan Waheed is a graduate of the Erasmus Mundus Joint Masters in Cartography. It's a program spanning Germany, Austria, and the Netherlands. Ridwan holds a National Diploma from Kwara State Polytechnic and a Bachelor of Science in Surveying and Geoinformatics from the University of Ilorin, Nigeria. He began his career at Okweloyeru Survey Consults Limited as a pupil surveyor, and during his master's, worked with the Austrian Federal Office of Metrology and Surveying on the digitalization of the cadastral system. Presently, Ridwan works as a software engineer in the European energy industry, and beyond his professional pursuits, he enjoys traveling to explore different cities and cultures, staying active on social media, particularly on X, and keeping fit at the gym. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Ridwan Waheed. Can you kindly say hi?
Yeah, thank you for the wonderful introduction. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ridwan, and thank you to the Young Surveyors Network, Lagos, for putting this fantastic session together. It has always been my pleasure to connect with my roots in the surveying profession. So I'm really looking forward to sharing my knowledge about global opportunities with you all today. So yeah, let's get right into it. Thank you once again.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ridwan. To help us in the next citation is Mr. Oseni Abdulkadir, and he's going to be having the citation of Town Planner Sadiq Onigbokum. Mr. Oseni Abdulkadir, please, you have the floor.
All right. Thank you so much. Good afternoon once again. I will be reading the profile of Mr. Sadiq Onigbokum. Sadiq Onigbokum is an urban planner, researcher, and project manager with over 6 years of experience in urban development, spatial planning, and policy research. He is a DAT scholar and holds a double degree international masters in regional development planning and management from TU Dortmund University, Germany, and Federal University of ABC, Brazil. Sadiq specializes in GIS and spatial data analysis, urban research, community engagement, and data-driven policy development. Currently, He works as a research manager at DevOps Research LLC, while also consulting as a data collector for policy development projects. Sadiq is also a registered town planner with the Town Planners Registration Council of Nigeria, TOPREC, and a member of the Nigerian Institute of Town Planners. Mr. Sadiq Onibokun, we are glad to have you here. Please kindly unmute your mic and say hello to you.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Mr. Osini, for the introduction. And thank you, YSN Lagos, for organizing this session. I hope it's a good and insightful one for all of us.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sadiq. To take the last citation is Miss Adela Antonia, and she'll be having the citation for Sovio Jimo Sheriff.
Good afternoon once again, YSN Lagos. So I would like to welcome Sovio Jimo Sheriff to our midst. He's a result-oriented, goal-driven, and Sovio Jimo Sheriff is a result-oriented, goal-driven, self-motivated, and resourceful individual with solid surveying and computer background, excellent interpersonal relationships, and good communication skills. He has varied experience in field and office aspects of surveying and GIS, with a demonstrated history of working with private and government organizations. Having carried out numerous surveying and GIS projects for planning and policy-making purposes. He is a registered surveyor under the SOCON, HAT, S18, LFN 2004. Sheriff is a critical thinker and a creative-minded individual with a growth mindset. He is a full member of the Nigerian Institution of Surveyors, the NIS, and the FIG Young Surveyors Network, Nigeria. He is a student member of the Royal Institution of Surveyors, the Chartered Institute of Building, and the Association for Project Management. He was among the delegates that attended the Global Monitoring for Environment and Security in Africa, a global conference organized and sponsored by the African Union in conjunction with the European Union in November 2018. He's an alumnus of the Federal School of Surveying in Oyo and Nnamdi Azikiwe University, Akwa, Nigeria. Sheriff is an Erasmus Mundus scholar and was selected for the Copernicus Master in Digital Health and Erasmus Mundus Joint Master's degree at the Paris-London University of Salzburg, Austria, and Palaki University, Olomouc, Czech Republic, which he completed in 2021. Sheriff was a member of the organizing committee for the FIG 6th Young Surveyors European meeting, which was held on the 11th to 12th in October 2019 in Porto, Portugal. He was also a member of the organizing committee for the FIG 5th Young Surveyors Network Conference, which was held virtually due to the coronavirus pandemic on the 9th of May 2020 as a social distancing edition. He was formerly a member of the research committee in the 2019 to 2021 administration of the Young Surveyors Network, Lagos State Branch, Nigeria, and he was the chairman of the Scholarship and Grants Committee of the 2021 to 2023 administration. He completed a master's degree in building surveying at the University of Salford with distinction. He is the CEO, MD of Geolinks Consults Limited, a surveying and geospatial company based in Lagos State, Nigeria. Please join me in giving a welcome to Sovio Sheriff. Sovio Sheriff, please, if you're on this call, kindly say hello to the house. Thank you, everyone.
Yes, we can hear you, sir.
All right, well, thank you. Good afternoon. Thank you for the invite today. Really happy to be here. I'm hoping that we don't have a good and wonderful dedication. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Sylvia Sherif. It's good to see you again. Okay. So you all will agree with me that from the rich profile of all of our speakers that we're in good hands and that we'll be well informed during this panel session. So right now we dive straight into the panel session. And firstly, we'd like to hear the story of scholarship, the scholarship journey stories of all of our panelists, their individual stories. So I will be calling them in the order that they were introduced. So firstly, we have Mr. Oluwadara Adedeji. Please, can you share your story, your scholarship journey story, briefly? Thank you. 5 minutes.
Yeah, thank you very much. First of all, I have to add a disclaimer. I'm not a trained or practicing surveyor like the other panelists. So my undergraduate was in electrical engineering, electrical and electronic engineering from the University of Ibadan. So, and I finished with a first class. And that's while in the course of my undergraduate, I had some scholarships, like a Etisalat scholarship, MTN scholarships, and the likes. And after finishing, I proceeded to Carnegie Mellon University. But before I got to Carnegie Mellon University, I applied to several places. I applied to like 5 places, I think. And interestingly, Carnegie Mellon University was my last application. That was my last pending application. The other ones were already rejected. So, and I got admitted in Carnegie Mellon University for engineering artificial intelligence. That was in 2021. And that was on the MasterCard Foundation Scholarship, which was the first graduate scholarship I got, apart from the undergraduate scholarships I got while in my BSc. Then, when I finished my master's, I proceeded to do a PhD, and which is also funded by the Research Island Foundations to study a PhD in machine learning here in Dublin, Ireland. So basically, I've had several experiences with applying and getting scholarships right from my undergraduate up to the PhD level.
All right, thank you very much. That was very brief and it was very rich profile. Thank you. So up next, we'll be calling Mr. Ridwan Waid. Please kindly share with us your story as well. Thank you.
Um, my scholarship journey is actually quite brief. Before I got my scholarship, I started applying to scholarship, I think in 2021. So I applied to a couple of them. I didn't get it in my first year, and same as my second year as well. But eventually, in my third year, I got the cartography program scholarship, which span across several European university. And recently, last year, September, I completed my program, and I don't know yet if I will want to proceed to a PhD, but for now, I'm still kind of like exploring Germany for now. Thank you.
All right, sir. That PhD, you still do it, don't worry. Okay, so we'll be calling on Mr. Sodiq Onigbokun. Tampana Sodiq Onigbokun. Please, you can come in now, sir.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. I think my scholarship journey is also brief. I started applying for scholarships back in 2019, which was when I also graduated from Uniloring. And for me, I was more of a very somewhat average student. I wouldn't say I'm a scholar like Ridwan, and also as Dara mentioned. So it was a lot of work for me, and I finally got my scholarship in 2022. After about 18 applications, some with funding, some without fundings, and finally I got a DAD scholarship in 2022 to study regional development planning in Germany, and a second year in Brazil which much more focus on policy development and planning. So after my scholarship, I came back to Nigeria. Since I've been building a few things in between my scholarship. So yes, I'm just back home now, enjoying my time.
Welcome back. We are glad to have you back. So we'll be having Savio Sharif Grimon to tell us about his story.
Thank you, well, studying abroad for me has been a very long journey, I have to say. So, because after I finished my secondary school, I have planned to go and study my BSc abroad, but that didn't work out. So that led me to doing my national diploma on national diploma at Federal Philosophy in Oyo, and then topping it up with the postgraduate diploma at Nnamdi Azikiwe University. So, but then, even before I finished my HND, I had the belief that, okay, I want to still further or study abroad. So I still continue applying. Then after the PGD as well, my application continued. So through PTDF, Federal FSD, and other scholarships as well. Even the Queen Elizabeth scholarship. And then there's the Commonwealth Shield as well, the Commonwealth scholarship. So I tried those, they didn't work out. So and then I moved into the Erasmus Mundus scholarship. So and then that I got in 2019. So and after 20 and it was two years programs, 1 year in Austria, the other year in Czech Republic. So it was quite an intensive program, I have to say. So and then after I said, okay, yeah, let me come back home and then build my company. So that's about it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Savio Sharif Jimo. So my next question is directed to Mr. Ridwan. And my question is, considering your journey from a national diploma certificate holder to an Erasmus Mundus scholar, and now a software engineer in Europe, is actually very, very inspiring. And that's why I would like to ask that, what would you say to someone right now who doubts that they are scholarship material in that sense because of their current academic background? I could repeat the question. Considering that you were an ordinary national diploma certificate holder at the time, before moving to being an Erasmus Mundus scholar, and eventually now a software engineer, what would you say to someone right now who doubts that they are scholarship materials because of their current academic background?
Okay. Thank you for the question. So, I like to say that if you want it bad enough, then you have to already see yourself living it. So, and honestly, I am proof of the point I'm about to make. I didn't start with a first class or a fancy CV. I started with a national diploma from the Polytechnic, and today I'm sitting here as an Erasmus Mundus scholar. So if you are doubting yourself because of where you are starting from, I want you to hear that first. So here's the thing: a lot of people get wrong. They believe that they need some stellar achievements to apply to global opportunities, a first class publications, or perhaps even an internship with a multinational. But that is usually not true. So I know people who graduated with a 2-1 and won scholarships. I know people that graduated with 2-2, and in fact, I know people with HND that proceeded from right from their HND straight to not even a master's, straight to PhD. So one of my seniors won the Erasmus Mundus scholarship with a CGPA below 4.0. And I tell you that you might not be the top student in your class and still be exactly what committee is looking for. So what actually matters the most is working on your leverage. I tell you that nobody has everything. When I applied to my scholarship, I had zero publications when I applied, but the same senior I mentioned that got the scholarship with a relatively low CGPA, he had more than five publications. So we just had different strength, and I tell you that there is no point sitting around on what you don't have. You look at what you have and what you can realistically build. In fact, right from my national, when I graduated from my national diploma, I knew that I didn't want an HND. I want, I want a BSc, and I applied to that at the University of Ilorin, got in, and eventually graduated with a first class. And I didn't know anything about scholarship during my national diploma. And in fact, during my bachelor's as well, I think I started learning about scholarship during my service year. So I give you like a quick example from my own application. So the first time I applied, uh, I had no volunteering experience at all. Then my friend Sadiq, who is also here with us today, won his scholarship. Then he sent me a link where I could volunteer online with the United Nation. I remember in our conversation, then I asked him, what exactly do you think, made you like win this scholarship? He mentioned some few things to me, and he shared this link with me. I went on there, I applied, added it to my CV. I talked about it in my motivation letter, and it's that particular thing ended up being one of the strongest parts of my application. So to sum this up, uh, I think as long as you meet the minimum requirement to these opportunities, you find your leverage and put your energy into presenting what you already have as well as you can possibly, then I tell you that you are more scholarship material than you think. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. White. And I would just like to ask you if you can send the link or type it in the chat box, as a lot of our participants will be interested to
Well,
volunteer.
that has been some few years ago, but I can definitely search and I'll share the link. And my friend Sadiq that shared the link with me is also here as one of the panelists. So
Okay,
maybe
please, we appreciate that.
yes.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, so the next question will be addressed to Mr. Oluadara. And the question is, is about the application phase. Thrilling and very difficult, and it is a test of your faith and your courage. So, drawing on your advocacy for mental health, how did you manage the psychological toll of the process and stayed resilient until you secured the MasterCard Foundation scholarship? I'll take that again. It's about the application phase. So, it is that from your experience, your mental health around that period, how did you manage the psychological toll of the process and stayed resilient until you secured the MasterCard Foundation? Did you get that, sir?
Yeah, I got the question. Thank you, Mr. Awujan. So yes, the application phase is usually a very grueling phase, full of a lot of anxiety and sometimes self-doubt as well, especially when the rejections come in. In my case, I started applying for scholarships just immediately after my service year, and I was also applying for jobs around that time as well. So I I mentioned earlier that the MasterCard Foundation scholarship, which I got, was actually my last pending application before, like, because every other application I applied to were already rejected or on waiting list. So, uh, I applied to like 5 places, and it was really tough because considering my background, finishing with a first class in my undergrad, having several scholarships prior, and also I had a publication as well, just one publication, though not a very top journal then, but I had one publication. So I was so confident I was going to get it, and it was really shocking when the rejections started coming in. I remember one of the applications I made was to one Erasmus scholarship, and after I got the rejection, I sent them a reply that are they sure? It was really that serious. So yeah. So the first thing I would say is to manage your mental health around this time, you have to know that rejections are basically just redirections. And to be honest, even for like top candidates that you may think have a perfect profile, as just as the earlier panelists mentioned, like Ridwan, just like Ridwan mentioned, like it's not just about having a first class or it's not just about having a distinction. So they usually consider an holistic 10. So if it doesn't work out, just know that it's just a redirection, basically. Like it's not a true reflection of who you are. It's not like you are a failure or you are not wanted or you are not worthy or you are not scholarship material. That's far from the case. It just basically means you need to take the feedback and check your applications. What are the things you can improve on? For some people, it might be adding more leadership things. So for some people, it might be getting experience. Just do those things. Focus on what you can actually control, which are improving your application, basically. So that is one. And another thing is also understand what is your purpose as well. I know this sounds cliche and also it's quite broad because you might say, oh, what's my purpose? So sometimes when we have a good understanding of what we are here to do, even when things are not falling in place, you just always have this conviction that, okay, I'll still be fine eventually. So it's always good to know what you are seeking for and where you are going. And that helps me because now, even if I get rejections, I still get rejections still today, despite my success over the years, I still get rejections. But now, when I get rejections, I know, okay, this is just a closed door and there can always be another path to follow. And another thing is also try to be involved with something. Make sure you are always moving as well. So you can be busy maybe with work or with volunteering, but don't be idle or lonely because when you are in those states, it gives room for like anxiety thoughts when you start thinking about things that you shouldn't be thinking of. But when you are always have something doing, then you will just submit an application and you might not even remember until when they send you an email that, oh, this is the outcome of your application. But if you don't have anything doing at the moment, then that gives room for anxiety and overthinking about things basically, or too much expectancy. Then the last thing I want to mention is also is uh having a good support system as well. So you have like colleagues you are applying together, or you have your family you can talk to, and you can always discuss with people. So always make sure that whatever condition you have, whatever thoughts you have, or whatever expectation you have about any scholarship, you can always voice out to people, and especially supportive people like family and friends, and they'll be able to help. So to recap, the first thing is rejections are redirections. So when you get those rejections, just know that it's just like a redirection to another thing. Then focus on what you can do. How can you improve your application as well? Then understanding your purpose is another thing, and that gives you confidence that even despite these rejections, my single years that I need, even if you have more than 1 year, you just need one single years to pursue. So my years is going to come. And also being busy with something so that you don't give room for anxiety, and finally having a supportive environment in terms of relationships.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Oluwadara. That was such an insightful one. Quickly, for those that are just joining the call, please do well to drop your name and where you're joining from. And moving on to the next panelists, I'm going to be directing a question to Sylvia Sheriff. And question is, having sat on the other side, the chairman of a scholarship and grant committee, you know what reviewers look for. So how then can we approach tailoring? Sorry, I'm going to take that again. Having sat on the other side as the chairman of a scholarship and grant committee, you know what reviewers look for. What then is the most common mistake you see in personal statements, and how can applicants fix this? I'm going to take that again. Having sat on the other side as the chairman of a scholarship and grant committee, you know what reviewers look out for. You know what they want and what they don't want. So the question now is, what is the most common mistakes you see in personal statements, and how can applicants fix this?
Yeah,
Mr.
thank
Sheriff.
you very much. Thank you very much once again for having me here. So, well, as you've said, I've had the opportunity to be a chairman of YSN Lagos Scholarship and Grants Committee. So during I think the last administration, or the one before. So there are a lot of things that the scholarship committee or the scholarship board looks for in an applicant. So, and the most common mistake which I've seen over the course of the years, course of my experience, is that the applicants, they are usually more generic in writing their story or writing their personal statement. So what do I mean by this? So like they don't usually tailor their story or the personal statement or the motivation towards what the scholarship committee is looking for. So they usually like describe their achievement, so without explaining what matters or how those experiences and achievements can shape their goals. So as I said earlier, all scholarships, be it anywhere in the world, they have their respective mission and objective that they want to achieve. So, and that also shapes the funding that is being given to them by the funding body. So, but based on this, the funding body will now release the fund based on that identified like the mission. So to fix this, in my own opinion, so I believe the applicant should try as much as possible to be more focused on their specific experiences. So they should reflect on what they've learned from those experiences, and then they should clearly try to connect those experiences to their future aspiration, so and the scholarship purpose. So if I want to take that again, I can do that. So they should try to like focus on their they should try to focus on respective experiences and then reflect on those experiences, and then they try to connect the experiences to their future ambition and the scholarship purpose. So those things should go together. So, and then when you're writing your statement, you should make sure that you connect those dots, connect it together, and ensure that it aligns with the program mission. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for that brilliant response. I believe we are all getting well informed. And it will interest you all to know that Sawyer Sheriff's tenure bettered the scholarship clinic. So it was under his administration that the very first edition of the scholarship clinic was held. So Sawyer Sheriff, we want to thank you again for always supporting OISN Lagos. Thank you so much.
It's been a wonderful experience to serve alongside you as well. I remember we were in the scholarship committee together. Thank you for the wonderful job done.
All right. So now we'll be directing the next question to Mr. Sadiq, Town Planner Sadiq. Let me see. Oh, sorry, to Mr. Dara. So transitioning to a PhD requires a highly specific research narrative, especially in a cutting-edge field like machine learning. How do you approach tailoring a research proposal or essay so that it stands out to a highly technical committee? Let me take that again. Transitioning to a PhD requires a highly specific research narrative, especially in a cutting-edge field like machine learning. How do you approach tailoring a research proposal or essay so that it stands out to a highly technical committee?
Thank you. When writing proposals or essays, probably statement of purpose and the likes for research, what most people are looking for, especially the reviewers, now, what they are looking for in your essays would be the fit. And just as Sobiel Sherif mentioned, some candidates, the mistakes they make is not telling their story to fit the funding. And so having this in mind, the first thing you should do is do a reflection of who you are, and especially in relation to research, because this is a mistake many people make. They forget that PhD is for research. PhD is not for startups or entrepreneurship. So even if you have funded companies and the likes, you still have to show them the story of how it links. Because there's this example I always try to think of. If you want to shop for a shoe now, no matter how good or fine the shoe is, if it's not your size, you're not going to take it. So if they can't see the fit, they won't, no matter how good, no matter how awesome, no matter how intelligent you may be. But if they can't, if you don't make it obvious for them to see the fit, it will be very hard to get it. So think of your background. What are your experiences? What are your skills? That's the first thing. And also looking at the description. What is this PhD all about? What skills do you think they will need? What experiences do you think they will need? For example, if they need some technical skills, let's say the skills that are coming to my mind now are more engineering. So let's say GIS now in surveying. So if you see that they need GIS skills, if you don't have that skills, then probably you should do a course or something on it so that you can be able to talk on it in your essays. So think of that. What's your background? Then also think of your strengths as well. and let these strengths be emphasize these strengths in your essays. So as someone that is reviewing your essay and is recruiting, they would want to see, can this person be able, that does this person have the skills to do this research? And even if they don't have it, do they show like some transferable skills that can be required? Let's say some adjacent skills that might be required. So let's say, for example, in surveying, you go to the field to do something, and the PhD involves you doing some field work. So it would be good to emphasize something like that, that, oh, you've done this in the past. So your background, your strengths, think of them and emphasize them in your essays, and always have that fit in mind in terms of like, this is a research role, and the reviewing committee, they are interested in how you fit into that role. Then another thing is publications. It's usually good to have publications, but interestingly, when I applied for my own PhD, I didn't have any publication as at that time. At least peer-reviewed publication, I didn't have any. And the PhD I got is actually very competitive too. Just about 3 to 5% are selected in the whole world. So if you don't have publication, which is like an example of research experience or research skills, you can just think of anything you could have done, maybe the path where you did research or volunteered research. Because interestingly, when I was doing my service here, I served during COVID, by the way, and it, I started my service in November. There was shutdown, I think February or March, I can't remember where. So basically, for me, fortunately for me, sort of, I was just indoors and I could focus on volunteering with someone I connected with on LinkedIn. So I connected with a lecturer on LinkedIn, and I just volunteered to do research for him during that service year. So something like that, you could do it even if you didn't do like research prior to your or during your undergrad or maybe even your masters. Like, just try to think of how you can get research experience if you don't already have it, and that shows interest in what you are doing. Then another thing is, you should be able to tell your story to also show that this aligns with your short-term and long-term goals. So this is one of the things that many might miss out on, because you want them to be sure that you really want to do this. Because the interesting thing is, PhD is a quite different educational level. It's quite different from what you get in bachelor's and in masters, and I've been through the three of them right now, so I know what I'm saying. So PhDs usually have the highest number of dropouts, by my estimate anyways. I don't have the data to back that, but by my estimate, I think PhDs usually have the higher number of dropouts. So people usually just drop out of PhDs because it takes years, 4 to maybe 3 years in some countries in Europe, but 4 to 5, 6 years, depending on which country you are in. So it's a very long journey. It's a marathon. So do you have the engine? Do you have the resilience to be able to pass through it? Because interestingly, even if someone has distinctions on first class, it doesn't guarantee that they will finish their PhD. In fact, there's even like a in-house joke that the most intelligent ones drop out of the PhD fast, because you just think, oh, what's the point? So my point is, try to make sure that you show that you are interested in the research and it fits your short-term and long-term goals. The reviewing committee has to see that. So, and another thing I like for this clinic is the range of panelists, and how it has been reiterated that it's not just about having a first class. Having a first class is good. Like, I won't even downplay it, because that has opened a lot of doors for me. But you still have to tell your story in a very authentic way, and in a very in a way that matches the fit and the need of that PhD program. So to recap, your background, do a reflection of your background, and identify your strengths, and also have it in mind that you need to show a fit and tell your story. You can also volunteer for research experiences and identify what are your short-term and long-term goals and link that to your application. Let it, whatever you are doing, people, even though reviewers, professors are smart people, but as humans generally, we don't really want to be thinking, racking our brain too much. So you must make the direct link. Don't tell stories that they start asking, so and so what? So it should be directly related to what you're applying for, and you should link whatever you're saying and make it obvious for them to understand that. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Oluwadara. It's very beautiful to note that Mr. Dara has been emphasizing the importance in volunteering. Don't be idle. Make sure you get something doing. So I really want us to take note of that. Want us to volunteer as much as we can and ensure that at different points we are doing something. Please, if you have any questions, do well to drop them in the chat box. We believe some of us have questions already, so you can drop your questions in the chat box. Going on, I'll be directing the next question to Savio Sodiq, Mr. Sodiq, or Tamplana Sodiq. I don't know which is which. I'm very sorry, but let me just say Mr. Sodiq. To Mr. Sodiq, the DAT scholarship is highly competitive and often focuses on leadership and development. How do you authentically align your personal story with the specific value or mission of the funding body without sounding rehearsed? I'll go again. The DAT scholarship is highly competitive and often I hope you got the question.
I lost you for like some seconds, but I think I got the question first.
Thank you so much.
Okay. All right. So how do I start? I think for me, I kind of knew what I wanted right from the start, and I aligned every part of my journey with it. So I've always wanted an international education, and right after university in 2019, I started applying more and more for different positions, roles, and scholarships. And by the end of my service year in 2020, I think coincidentally I did my service year same year with the Oluwadara. That calendar kind of matched. So I got a job. The job wasn't the best in terms of pay, but there was so much experience from the job, and I took the job. I had to do that. So for me, all those points, I saw them as a building phase towards what I wanted. And yes, the experience was really good, that I felt like even till now, not too many of my peers could like stand there to me as regards whatever we do in planning. So it was a lot of experience. Then back in 2022, I got a 6 months unpaid internship with the UN in Kenya, but I was working remotely in Nigeria. Also, all of these things, they were not coincidental. They were things that I had thought through. For instance, when applying for my program, the program in which I got the scholarship funding from it, I had seen the program 18 months before. And I went through everything on the program. I saw what they wanted. I saw the profiles of those who got the scholarship. And then I went back, started crafting my own journey using some of those models, right? Some of the things I've seen. And I brought all of that into my scholarship story, my motivation statement, my SOPs. So it sort of made it authentic for me, because I was writing my story. I was writing exactly what I passed through, what I had learned. So anybody reviewing my applications would definitely see my zeal for development. It was hard not to see it with the profile I was building and the things I was doing at that time. So I think that kind of made it easier for me. So my story was authentic. Oluwadara said much of what I have said already, which makes sense. If you know what you want, you really need to just go for it, basically. And even though it was hard for me because there were options I could have taken, but I had to go back on them and just retract my steps. For instance, the 6 months unpaid internship with the UN was a lot for me because I was working full time with Kenyan time. They were like 2 hours ahead of us. I had to spend on internet. I needed electricity, stable, and all of that, which was a lot. And it tended into my savings. I had to spend part of my savings. But there was a mission. I had a journey. I had a place I was going specifically. And yes, so I built all of those stories together and then presented it as part of my application. And I think that worked for me because my model was something that I was also able to tell a few of my friends. For instance, Ridwan mentioned earlier that he also applied for some things. I couldn't even remember that I recommended something for Ridwan. But yes, about 2 of my other friends or 3 of my other friends also did internships with the UN. And following years after me, everybody also got their scholarship. It was easier for us because our course is urban planning and it kind of aligns with a lot of things the United Nations does, from project planning to project management to development, advocacy, all of that. So it was a lot. So I think I was lucky with my course. It gave me a lot of flexibility to align with different sides of the experience that I could get as an urban planner. And I was able to merge all of that together to get exactly the story I wanted the admissions committee to get. So that worked out for me, and I didn't sound rehearsed while presenting all of this at the end of the day. So yes, I think that works for DAD because there is more development focus. EPOS specifically is development focus. So if you do a lot of work around development related things, I think it will be easier for you to sell yourself to the funding body. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Sodiq. And before you go, we still have another question for you. And while answering the question, I will as well want you to address the UN volunteer opportunity. If you could help us send the link. So to your next question. Your next question is about global trajectory and looking beyond funding. So we are aware that you completed a double degree spanning Germany and Brazil. So beyond the scholarship itself, what hidden realities or financial considerations should applicants prepare for when navigating life across different continents? Let me take that again.
Okay.
So I said this section is about global trajectory and looking beyond funding. So we are aware that you completed a double degree spanning across Germany and Brazil. So beyond the scholarship itself, what hidden realities or financial considerations should applicants prepare for when navigating life across different continents?
Okay. Thank you, Samuel. So navigating across continents is of course expensive and it can be hard too. even though there's a lot of explorations to it because you get to see new cultures, people's realities, you meet people, you have a different level of exposure, right? But it is hard in the sense that every migration means you have to restart again. You have to reset everything. You have to leave everything behind and say, this is a new life. So while I was leaving Nigeria to Germany, for me, it was, okay, I'm starting a new life in Germany. But I knew I was only spending just 1 year in Germany. So there wasn't much to build in Germany. I didn't have too much I could build, I had to leave at the end of my first year to Brazil. So after my first year in Germany, I relocated to Brazil, which was also hard because now we had to start over again, searching for a new apartment, city registration, all of that. It was so much work. And because also Brazil is a country where they don't speak English, they speak Portuguese. I had to pass through the ordeal of learning Portuguese from the start, right? After I'd done 2 months to 3 months intensive training for German language in Germany. So yes, it's really hard in that sense. Also, one reality when navigating places is your life is temporary. So you're just like a nomad, you're moving around from one place to another. And I knew after my program in Brazil, I had two options, either to pursue my PhD in a different country or come back home to do some work. So I looked at it. Unfortunately, I couldn't get a PhD application at the time. And I had an offer from a startup here in Nigeria, which is a research company, to manage operations back in Nigeria. And the pay was good. So I felt, okay, let me just come back home. It was easy. So for anybody who finds themselves in a situation where they have to navigate across countries, across continents for their programs, I think it is important for you to build a solid ground at your final destination. Know where you are going precisely, because 2 years runs fast, right? Mine is like 2 years, 6 months or so, but it goes by very fast. And if you do not plan right, by the end of your nomadic lifestyle, you realize you're stranded. You're in a spot where you don't know where to go. So for most people who find themselves in that position, I think it is important to build a solid ground at home. Home is good. Nigeria is good for a lot of people who get their options right. And with the kind of profile you get from scholarships, I feel like you can really compete at any level, anywhere you find yourself, and you'll still be okay, because it is a lot. You get a lot of knowledge different from a lot of your contemporaries back home. And that always makes a difference. So yes, navigating across continents, everybody needs to think about what is their final destination. And some of those final destinations might include also building back home, because I think it's very important. So, all right. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Sadiq. The next question will be directed to Mr. Ridwan. How did you strategically leverage your master's program and the European ecosystem to pivot successfully into the tech industry? We've been told that you're a software engineer on the side. So I'm going to repeat the question that says, how did you strategically leverage your master's program and the European ecosystem to pivot successfully into the tech industry? Mr. Ridwan, sir.
Hi, thank you very much for the question. So, my interest has always lived at the intersection of IT and geoinformation. So, this wasn't really a pivot away from surveying. It was more of a pivot deeper into where I always wanted to go. And honestly, the shift started before the scholarship. So back in Nigeria, I was doing the same cadastral work every day, and to be candid, I was getting bored. So I started learning programming, writing scripts to automate things I do daily, things I do by hand, and that was that was when the ambition shifted from just wanting to be a surveyor to wanting to be a geospatial software engineer. So the Erasmus Mundus was the vehicle and not exactly the starting point. But yeah, so choosing the right program mattered enormously. So when I was applying, I went I went through the curriculum of every program I was considering. I did that carefully. So cartography sounds like it is just about map making, and honestly, yes, it is. But beyond that, the course adds seriously interesting IT modules. You know, talk about web development, talk about mobile app development, engineering databases, machine learning. You know, all of that lined up with where I wanted to go. So there were a lot of graphic design courses too, and I knew I wasn't cut out for those. And to be honest, that is fine. Everyone in my program came from a different background with different goals. You know, some of them needed to be excellent at visual design, but for me, it was more about building deep expertise in geospatial technologies. So I was really intentional about it. I I struggled with design courses, but in every IT course, I was at the top. If you talk about programming, talk about IT in my course, like I was the top. So I work hard on my project assignments, always pick topics that match my direction and my strengths. In my second year, together with my team, I built an Android app that got selected for presentation at the State Digital Congress. So uh, I tell you that every project, every assignment, every topic, they were like a deliberate break in the CV I was building, and all of that paid off in the most direct way I could hope for. I got I got my current job a month before I even graduated. So my master's thesis played a big role in that. So my boss is an AI enthusiast, and he was immediately drawn to my work because my thesis was about using large language models to infer people personality from geosocial media data, and that is the special technology and AI in the same projects. So which is exactly where I had been aiming the whole time. So here is the thing is that you should know what you want from the program before you even walk into the program or before you even apply to it. And you make sure everything you do inside it is pointed to that goal, to that one goal. And I tell you that the European ecosystem, it opens door, but only if you have already built something that is worth opening them for.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ridwan. Please confirm you can hear me. All right, thank you so much, Mr. Ridwan. To our very last panelist, I'll be directing the last question to Sylvia Sharif. As a CEO managing a company in Nigeria while building a global academic portfolio, how will you advise scholars to think about bringing the value of their international education back home or applying it to their local industries? I'll go again to Sylvia Sharif. As a CEO managing a company in Nigeria while building a global academic portfolio, how do you advise or how will you advise scholars to think about bringing the value of their international education back home or applying it to their local industries?
Yeah, thank you very much for this wonderful question. To start with, before I got the Erasmus scholarship, so I already knew what I wanted. So I knew that I want to be a CEO, like I want to manage a company. So, and that also shaped my motivational statement because I added there. If I remember vividly, in one of the questions that were asked in the motivational statement during the application was they asked about the long-term objective. So that's specifically like managing a geospatial or a surveying and geospatial company. So it's also there. And also I remember very well also being a humanitarian. So it was also there. So before I got the scholarship, I'd been looking for name, the company name I'm gonna use. So that shows that this person is very intense about this approach. So then after the program, I came back home, and because of the fact that I was already showing the path of being a registered surveyor. So it was during my scholarship year. So during my scholarship that I did my Stockholm. So then because from there I had to come back home. I wrote my thesis, my Stockholm folio and everything over there. So and then I came back home to do the Stockholm exam, then come back again, and fortunately for me, I passed. So then that was sorted. So because I knew that for me to become a CEO, it's because I'm into surveying and diplomacy. Okay, I needed my Stockholm. So then after finishing my program, I came back home and I started the company proper, utilizing what I've learned from there and then my past knowledge working government organization and also the private organization. So to advise the scholar, I believe the scholar should see international education as an opportunity to acquire knowledge, and then to acquire the required knowledge, and then that you need to acquire the skills that you need, and also for networking, so which can help you in ensuring that you create a meaningful value in your local community. I know that if you look at maybe the ratio of people that went to study abroad, like let's say 100, you have a few, it's just few of the scholars come back home to add value. So, and I'm happy that Mr. Sadiq is also a living witness. So, the really part, as I've said earlier, it comes from you translating what you've learned in the global space. So you translate it to address any of the challenges, any of the local challenges as you've identified. So because there are a lot of things that you have to like look at. while you want to come back home. Okay, did you see a gap that needs to be filled? Or did you realize that, okay, yeah, maybe that these processes are being done, but they are not done in a more technological way, but you can offer that. So based on what you've learned from where you are coming from. So those are the things. And then if you also can realize that, yeah, you can innovate. You have a lot of innovation that you want to put in place. So then it's very, very good that you haven't learned a lot from where you are coming from. You come back home and then try to like help the community. So as there's this saying that usually goes by like us, like success is not just about what you learn about. So, but how can you impact what you've learned to make a meaningful to help the community where you are, or to give back to the people and then the country as large. So to recap, it's usually good for one to learn abroad and then you come back home to transfer your knowledge. So and it can be in many forms. It's either maybe building a company or maybe come back home and forming an humanitarian organization. So depending on your niche, because as a scholar, you must have a niche. You must have a specialization of what you want to do or what you are going to do at the end of your program. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, sir. That was really very brilliant, and we appreciate you. So, I just want to shoot a shot to you. So, we have some people that we would like to recommend to you and Mr. Oluadara for mentorship. Would have screened them ourselves, would have reviewed a lot of things. It's just for you to guide them and pull them through whatever scholarship they will be applying for. I don't know if I get a yes from you, sir, and Mr. Dara. So, Sheriff, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Will you be willing to mentor some of our people? Not too many, just like two.
Is that question to me or Mr. Aluwada?
For both of you, we've gotten a yes from our other speakers.
Okay.
So
Okay. Well, you know me by now that I'm always open to to volunteer or to mentor. So I would be an honor, yeah, for me to do that.
okay. Mr. Dara, will
Yeah,
you be
yes.
willing to?
Yeah, I was saying, yeah, I'm very interested and I look forward to it as well. So, and I was also saying before I dropped off because of my network, anyone that needs more information, especially about the PhD, because this is a short time and it's so hard to say everything. So, and also different needs require different advices as well, mentorship. So. You can reach out to me on LinkedIn, Oluwadara Dara Adedeji now on LinkedIn. So, and you can ask any of your questions, and I'm very willing to respond.
Okay, thank you very much. We appreciate that thoughtfulness. So we'll be moving to the question and answer session. So before then, I'll just want all of our panelists to prepare their parting speech, just a parting shot for our participants. So we'll go to this question and answer session, then we're back to your parting shots. So we have a question from Anu's iPhone. Her name is Anu Lapo, I guess. So the question is, for scholarship seekers looking for a career in academia, would you say that international postgraduate degrees offer more exposure and visibility that could help? Also, are there any advantages or disadvantages that it has over regular postgraduate degree located in one place? Also, that's three in one question. Also, what skills would you consider most persuasive if presented well? Let me take that again. She said for any scholarship seeker, will you say that an international PGD offers more exposure that could help? And what are the advantages or disadvantages it has over regular postgraduate degrees that are located in one place? And what skill would you consider most persuasive if presented well? I think I should direct that to Mr. Dara.
Yeah, I didn't miss. So this is Anu's iPhone, right?
Yes, sir.
Hello?
Anu's iPhone.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm trying to read the question. So this postgraduate, is it like master's, PhD, or postgraduate diploma? Which one?
She didn't specify.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Anu,
okay. So,
are you on the call? I guess she's not on the call.
She said master. She already
She
wrote
has
her.
Okay.
masters. Okay. Oh, okay. So for masters, the the first thing is in terms of exposure and visibility. To be honest, it depends on what masters you are considering, really, and what are your long-term plans. For example, when I applied for my masters, I wanted to go to an American school. It has always been my dream to like study in an American school because they have like the best education based on rankings, anyways. So, and I was able to get a master's there. And even though it was the campus in Rwanda, but the faculty was basically the American and the Rwandan faculty. So it depends on what you want from the postgraduate study. So there's really no absolute about which postgraduate is really the best. Of course, postgraduates abroad, it would be good to have them because even based on rankings, they are much better than the ones we have in Nigeria. But then there are people that even from their locality or from their country or even from Nigeria, and I know from India as well, they're able to like get like, let's say for example postdoc after getting like a PhD in Nigeria or a developing country, they can get a postdoc, let's say in Ireland or in any other place. So it depends on you and depends on what you make out of that program, and also it depends on what aligns with your plans. Then in terms of having like, I'm not sure I'm interpreting your question well, but in terms of having like postgraduate in the masters in a single location, let's say for example in just one country and in different countries. In my case, my masters was in just one location, in just one place. And to be honest, it was good, even though I left Rwanda eventually as well. So it was good, but in some cases as well, having in multiple countries might give you the exposure to different cultures and different experiences as well. So that's also good. There's usually pros and cons in most things in life, really. So if you go to one that you have in different places, then that might as uh I'm not sure if it was Sheriff that mentioned it or Sadiq in terms of like settling and having to change locations multiple times. So it can be difficult. But really, uh, most things depends on the person and in terms depends on what you want as well. So and everyone's experience is different, to be honest. So I can't really give you an absolute of this one is better than this one. And in terms of skills that panelists want, first of all, you need to know what the scholarship is centered on. For example, I got the Mastercard Foundation Scholarship, and Mastercard Foundation Scholarship focuses on academic excellence and leadership potential and on community impact as well. So knowing this, it suits if it suited it aligned with my profile because one, I had a first class in electrical engineering and I had multiple leadership experiences. I was the PRO of my department. I was the FinSec of National Association for Your Students in UI. Like I had so many leadership experiences, and I also had uh, the academic excellence, which was good on its own. So it fitted my profile and it made it easy for me to get it as well. So if you're applying to scholarships, it's always better to apply to places where the odds of you getting it is higher. And how you can know this is based on what they need and your profile. You have to make that link. I mentioned there should be a fit. So you should have to make that link. So the scholarship panel is the scholarship body, for you to stand out and be persuasive to them, you have to show them, just as we've mentioned many times on this call, you have to show them what it aligns with. But you have to do the homework first of knowing what that scholarship is all about. And there are different ways of knowing, to be honest. Sadiq and Ridwan, they did something nice, which is checking profiles of past awardees. If you look at past awardees, their profiles from LinkedIn, after checking like 5 to 10, you are going to see a pattern. Really, you are really going to see a pattern, and that will give you insight on what you can work on. And to be honest, anyone that gets a scholarship, it takes planning. It's not something that you say, oh, I just want to apply for scholarship. You have to plan ahead. Planning might be from your undergraduate, whereby you've searched earlier and you have thought of, okay, what are the things that I might need? So try to do those things in your undergrad. Or if you're already graduated, you can start planning now. Next application cycle. Applications are usually around September for most applications. They open September and they close around March, April, depending on which, but most places open around September. So you have to plan ahead and try to get whatever you don't have now that you know that needs to be shown to the committee that is going to review your profile. You have to plan ahead. So ideally, I know I gave a very broad response to your answer. So one thing you can do is you can message me on LinkedIn in case I didn't also address it well enough for you, and I can assess your profile and give you a tailored recommendation on that.
All right, thank you very much, sir, for that response. It was well detailed. Someone is asking for all the panelists' LinkedIn profile. I think they can basically search their names on LinkedIn. You could also help us out to send the link to the chat box. We appreciate. Thank you, sir. So we move to the next question. I'll be addressing this question to Mr. Sadiq. So it's from Adiola Yetunde. She asked two questions, so I'll take them together. For fresh graduates who apply for international study opportunities before completing NYSC, what would you recommend as the best preparation strategy? Specifically, how can they build a strong academic, professional, or financial foundation before relocating abroad, especially if they feel they have limited experience or exposure at that stage? That's one. Two, for applicants who cannot realistically afford self-funded studies but are unable to secure full scholarships, would you advise pursuing self-funded opportunities? If so, how can they navigate proof of fund requirements and other financial barriers? Mr. Sadiq, did you get that?
Yes, I got that.
Okay.
Okay. So let me start with the first question, which is what would I recommend as the best preparation strategy for someone just completing NYSC? Okay, so during your NYSC, I think one of the most important parts is getting on the same page with your referees. Your references are very important. They need to be someone who can say a lot of things about you, especially your academic and social life, kind of someone who can provide enough explanation to the admissions committee. But unfortunately, most people do not have someone like that, or it's just when the time is close that you reach out to people who you think can be references, especially your professors, and then you realize you don't have so much relationship with them, and it's like, yeah, they don't really do much justice to whatever recommendation they are writing. So your NYSC year is like a preparation year, right? It's the year to like start building the relationship with them already. If you have this vision even before graduating at school, start having a relationship with one or two people in your faculty, in your department precisely, who can recommend you properly. And I think one other thing to look out for is that referees don't have to be professors with 30 years, 20 years experience. In fact, it can be your lecturer too, but someone who can speak well to your academic capabilities, your leadership capabilities, and generally who you are academically. Those are like the kind of person you want to have as your references. For me, if I call my referees 2 o'clock in the middle of the night and I tell them there's something I need to submit by 6 and I need their input, they'll do it. It's because I've built that kind of relationship with them. So secondly, how can they build a strong academic, professional, financial foundation before relocating abroad? I mean, if you are looking for scholarships so badly, I don't think most people really have any financial foundation they can build, especially if you are just fresh out of school. Your strong academic foundation that comes from school, how you take it seriously right from school. There's really no way around that. And professional foundation, this one is hard because I know the job market in Nigeria is yes, it's hard to get the right job you want. So you have someone who did SVG having to settle for maybe a job in the bank or something because the pay in the say SVG surveying industry is not good enough. There are situations like that. So you really need to just pick what poison you think you can handle, right? For me, I was willing to take a bad pay just to build a strong professional foundation. Someone else might not be able to do that. So you just have to look at your own situation and see how exactly you can up your game. So let me go to the second part of the question, which is for applicants who cannot realistically afford self-funded studies but are unable to secure full scholarships. Would you advise pursuing self-funded opportunities? So it's hard, especially if you don't know how you want to pay back, right? For someone like me, I know my situation, I know how it was back home, and I know nobody's going to, nobody can afford self-funding opportunities for me. So I know I have to find full funding or just focus on my professional life and see how that takes me. So, but if you are someone who feels you have the backbone for self-funding, why not take the opportunity? And when you get there, you can explore more. But if you know you don't have the strength, I'll say don't take it. For my course, we had one person who was self-funded, and she eventually had to drop out of the course because the demand was high, right? My course had a very high demand. Time you had to be there. It was a full-time course. It was like we're going to class Monday to Friday, 9 to like 4 or 5. Sometimes you're not going to really do anything. It could be like group task or something. And the self-funded lady among us, she had to work, she had to keep up with life. So it was harder for her. And at some point, she just had to like drop out of the program and switch to another program, which automatically kind of canceled everything she could get from the program. So you have to know your strength, right? If you think you have the capacity for self-funding and the opportunity abroad shows, yeah, it's good to take it. You can try it out. It's always good. If you know you don't have the strength, just focus on getting a full ride, right? People get this thing, and I think there's a model to it. So what I usually advise, something that worked for me, is that I took my mentor very seriously. The first person that I had was my boss. He was a scholar. He had the MSc scholarship, and when I met him was just when he had his PhD scholarship, and he was relocating right at that point. So he was the first person that was close to me that I saw that had a scholarship outside just testimonies on the internet. And after him, he became my guidance, my mentor. Whatever I write, my SOPs, everything, I send it to him. He reviews it. He sends it back. He has been on different boards, so he understands kind of what they are looking out for, right? And that helped me a lot. It helped me like pass through all of these hurdles. And after him, my friends also got my scholarship like 2 years in a row, right? Which was this time around, I was the one just there for them and all of that. So I feel like there's a model to it. Once you're able to get the pattern, you can get a full ride. So if you don't have money for self-funding, look out for how can you get someone who can guide you, who can be there to support your applications, and then that person can also make life easier for you in terms of navigating fully funded scholarships. I hope I'm able to answer your question in details.
All right, thank you so much, Town Planner Sadiq. Mr. Ridwan, I can see your hand, but apologies because of our time. You would help us to give an answer to the 5th question. So I would apologize that you please pen your addition to the question. We are very sorry. We are working behind schedule as regards our time. That's why. So the 4th question, we have a 4th question from Mr. Abdul Qadri Hosseini. And I'm going to be directing this to Sovio Sharif. The question says, when applying for multiple scholarships simultaneously, how can someone professionally manage the process of requesting reference letters from referees without overburdening them? And what best practices would you recommend for maintaining a good relationship with referees throughout the application cycle? Sovio Sharif, sir.
Yeah. Sorry, I was trying to unmute myself.
That's all right, sir.
All right. That question, can you take it again?
All right. The question says, when applying for multiple scholarships simultaneously, how can one professionally manage the process of requesting reference letters from referees without overburdening them? And what best practices would you recommend for maintaining a good relationship with referees throughout the application cycles?
Yeah, thank you very much for this wonderful question. Well, this question is very direct, I have to say. So the only thing that I see here is that you have to have a very good relationship with your referee. So maintaining a very good relationship with your referee will give you a lot of leverage in ensuring that whenever they follow up, whenever you call them, they answer you. Just like Mr. Sadiq said, if he calls maybe one of his referees at 2 a.m. and needed something at 6, so they're going to get it done. I have those referees as well now. If I need something from them, they because they know my pedigree, they know the person that I am, and they know that okay, yes, if these guys need something, he definitely wants it. So that's number one. Have a good relationship. And secondly, yourself, you also have to have a good character, because for somebody to recommend you, the person must ensure that the referee must ensure that you being recommended is of a good character. So those 2 points works alongside together in such a way that your referee will know more about you, would know your academic journey, so what you are doing and where you are going, to ensure that whenever they are writing a reference for you, they know exactly what they are writing about. And then when you are requesting a reference from such person, you have to give them a detailed information about what you need. Let's say, for instance, you want to apply for that scholarship. So you have to furnish the referee the kind of scholarship you're applying for, the program itself, then how long the program is going to take. So, and it like everything surrounding the program. So that whenever they are writing it should be tailored towards what you need. So that is for that. Then going for Erasmus, going for Mastercard scholarship, going for Commonwealth, going for we have different scholarships. So each scholarship application have they have very different criteria. So those criteria has to be put into consideration when you are requesting the referee. And the best approach to get that done is to furnish your referee with a good information or with with comprehensive information that will enable them to give you the best reference that you need. So to recap, you have to have a very good relationship with your referee. So in such a way that whenever you call on the person answers you immediately. So and then you also have to have good character in such a way that the person will be able to vouch for you, and then the person will speak highly of you in your referee. Because from experience, one of the main highlights of English application is reference. I mean, so your reference also has a lot to do about whether you gain the scholarship or not. So then, thirdly, as I've said, you need to furnish your referee enough information for them to be able to write a good reference for you. Thank you. And I hope that answers your question.
Thank you very much, sir. To a very large extent, I think it was answered. So I'm going to be directing the next question to Mr. Ridwan. Please, you can come in with your addition at this point as well. All right, so to Mr. Ridwan, the question says, can you draw a roadmap for someone interested in winning scholarships based on my experience? The person has been applying for several scholarships since 2021, including Erasmus, Commonwealth, and KFUPM. But he's saying he has never secured any of them. In some cases, he was informed that he was academically eligible for the course, but was not selected by the scholarship committee. So the question is, what roadmap or strategy would you recommend for someone in such situation? Mr. Ridwan, sir.
Right. Thank you very much for the question. So before I answer the question, a quick addition to what Sadiq said about Sadiq's position. So I would say if the program is Erasmus Mundus program, I would say no. This actually is a popular question that has been asked many times on Twitter. In fact, some 2 weeks ago, we had with Erasmus Mundus Nigeria, we had a session on Twitter. Someone asked the same question about self-funding. In fact, I have about 5 scholars that got partial funding into a program. So everything about uh, uh, their school fee and everything will be sorted, but their living wage and everything will be personally sorted by them. My answer to them was no. And thank God in the session, a lot of uh, past Erasmus scholar agreed with me because Erasmus is not designed to be self-funded. That is just the truth. I would like to say more about it, but because of time, I would just say my position is no. Do not self-fund an Erasmus Mundus program. So back to the question directed at me. So I would say uh, it is absolutely normal not to get into your desired program or scholarship on your first attempt or even second attempt. I uh, I have people that uh, you know, that attempted this for like 3 years, 4 years, some even even 5 years. In my own case, I started in 2021, then I eventually got it in 2023. The most important thing was that I made sure that the application my application material that I'm using to apply for the current application is not the same as one I used in previous previous year. I mean, it also has some, some improvement thereabout. I would even tell you that my motivation uh letter or SOP that I used to eventually secure the scholarship was the same one that I used for my very first scholarship application. The single most important thing that elevated me from a good candidate to like a funded scholar was learning to provide context and not just presenting my credentials, which I am almost certain is the kind of situation you are in. So before I submitted my application, I had my documents reviewed by a scholar who had already been through the process. And in my motivation letter, for example, I had written something like I graduated with a first class, which is true, but the committee could already see that on my CV and also on my transcript. But what they couldn't see was the parts I had left out, that I didn't just graduate with a first class. I graduate in the top 1% of a class of about 80, and I was the second best student in my whole department. So adding that one detail changed everything. It's turned like a fact into a story, and that is really what the motivation letter is there for. So I say it is not for repeating your CV. It is for making the committee actually feel the weight of uh everything in my motivation letter. The same thing, things that were on my motivation letter, providing control, talk about as well. So my answer is that your motivation letter is the most powerful document you have. You know, use it to tell the story behind your achievements, not just list your achievement piece of feedback I got. How I presented that actually tells me something that yes, I'm getting really better at this. And I knew very much that very soon I was definitely going to get it. And in the following year, I improved on my application. Like I mentioned, earlier, I audit my application material, like what was the gap in my application. So then I thought, okay, I really don't have much volunteering experience. I did some volunteering, added it to my CV, talk about it in my motivation letter, and voila, that was that was it. I hope that answers your question.
Yes, that does. Thank you very much, sir, for that. It's a detailed response. So I believe the person who asked the question is satisfied. So I just wanted to ask for the link you mentioned earlier for volunteering. I think Mr. Sodik also mentioned it. So I don't know if it's something you can send now or later, and other helpful links you can relate it to our coordinator, the lead for the academic team. So finally, we'll be having our parting shots. So I'll call on Mr. Ridwan to give his closing remarks.
Uh, so if there is one non-negotiable piece of advice I would give, I would say that after this session, don't just close your laptop. Take about 10 or 15 minutes and do what I call a leverage audit. Take a piece of paper, draw a line down the middle. On the left side, write down everything you already have going on for you, your CGPA, projects you worked on, your internship experience, and that is your baseline leverage. And on the right side, write down your biggest gap or weakness. And, if you write something like no volunteering experience, just like me, then do exactly what I did. Uh, go online tonight, search for the UN online volunteering platform, maybe some other ones, and apply for a project. And I tell you, stop dwelling on the gaps and start filling them with the resources you already have right now. Thank you very
All
much.
right. Thank you very much, sir. That was brief. Sylvia Sharif, can you please give us your closing remark? Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much once again. My own non-negotiable advice would be that immediately you identified the scholarship that interests you. So don't wait. Start the preparation now. So immediately after this call, you maybe perhaps before this call, you've been looking at the scholarship that you say, okay, yeah, this is the one that aligned with your niche or aligned with your specialization or your career goal. So start the application now. Don't wait, and then try as much as possible to be intentional about the application. So your intention has to be, you have to have the seal. So don't procrastinate. Don't hesitate. Just start. So in that would help you to craft a very compelling story. So which will help you to really demonstrate um, perhaps your academic or your leadership or your um, um, potential and then the impact. So start now, don't wait. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. Mr. Sodiq, can we please have your closing remark?
Okay. Thank you, everyone. It's my pleasure being here. I'm so happy to share insights to everyone. One thing I will tell you is scholarship is hard work, really. It's not for faint-hearted people. you really work towards it if you want it, because you are competing with a lot of people. My scholarship had 8,000 application, and only about 365 people got the scholarship, which is like less than 5%. So you are competing with a very large pool. So put in the work. And if you're required to write standardized exams, I know a lot of scholarships require that you write like IELTS maybe. Please write it. I've seen a lot of people tell me, oh, they want scholarship, but then when we talk about IELTS, they start saying IELTS is hard and all of that. IELTS is like, that's the list of your problems when you are looking for scholarships. So if IELTS is the point where you start drawing the line, then I don't think you are even ready to start. So if you require standardized exams, please do it. Write a GRE, IELTS, whatever it is. Take your time to do it and put in the work. And yes, I believe everybody can get the scholarship. I feel so. I'm an average student. I don't think I'm a genius even till now, despite being a scholar. So once you just get the trick, that's just it for you, right? So yes, thank you.
Thank you, sir. And lastly, we'll be having Mr. Oluwadara for his closing remark. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And thanks to all the panelists as well for all the insightful things they've shared with everyone. So they've said most of the things, and one thing I would also want to add is this: document everything you do. So there are so many people you say, oh, I'm passionate about this, I'm passionate about that, but really you can't fake passion. Like the reviewers, they go through so many essays and they can spot which one is genuine or not. So try to, whatever you are doing, if you say you are passionate about uh, community development, for example, now Young Surveyors Network now is something you could show as passion to trying to develop your community and state what you did there. For me, during my application, one thing I did was all my awards, all my volunteering I did, the pictures from those volunteering outreaches and everything. I put everything in the Google folder and I organized the Google folder, directing everything I said in my essay to those pictures, and I added a link to the application. And it was one of the things that I think might have helped as well, because I was able to show evidence of all the things I said in my essays. And now I have a website where I have those things, many of those things there now. But you might not have the skills to build a website for yourself. But Google Drive is something so easy you can do. So whatever you do, document it. Documenting might not just be the Google Drive as well. It could be LinkedIn as well. Make LinkedIn posts about things you do. Till today, I still refer to things I did in the past on LinkedIn, because even me, I can't remember things of like 10 years ago that I did. So, but the details are there on LinkedIn. So I just check through my profile and I see them. So if there's anything else you should take out from this clinic, is document everything you do. And this is not just for scholarships, it's for everything in life, really, even for jobs, even for entrepreneurship. Everything you do, try to document them. And I'm wishing you the best, and I pray you get your fully funded offer soon. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. So this brings us to the ending of this scholarship 3.0. I hope it has been insightful for you as it has been for me. It's been well informing, and I've been well equipped for whatever step I want to take after now regards scholarship. I want to thank my co-hosts, Ms. Rachel Oredola. I want to thank every member of the academic committee, and also thank you, YSN Lagos, for this great opportunity to host this event. So right now, I'll be bringing on our state chair, our state lead, Ms. Sovio Adeyemi Oriyomi Rachel, for the closing address. You're welcome, ma'am.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Such a wonderful time we've had in this webinar today. All thanks to our hosts par excellence, Sovio Samuel Awodiro, and my namesake, Miss Rachel. You guys have done a great job coordinating this webinar today. I want to especially thank the academic committee for coming up with this initiative. It's a very important one for our members, and I'm sure that everyone who has attended today has gained a lot of insights on how to, assess scholarship, how to go about scholarship. I thank Sovio Ajayi Olawale, the committee lead for academic committee, and Sovio Mr. Biliamin. Thank you so much. I also want to thank our panelists, Sovio Jimo Sharif, Mr. Sodiq Onigbokun, Mr. Oluwadara, and sorry, I'm trying to get the name of the other panelists. Samuel, can you help me?
Mr. Wahid.
Yes, Mr. Wahid. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you guys for giving us your time. I know you are busy. I know you have a lot of places or a lot of things you'd rather be doing with this time, but you chose to share it with Young Soviets Network Lagos. And this means a lot to us. Thank you so much for also sharing your experience with our members. You all did justice with sharing your firsthand experience, how it went. And this is not a small thing that you've done for us today. Thank you so much. Thank you to all the members who joined this webinar, both Lagos State YSN members and the guests who joined from outside Lagos. You all are welcome and thank you for joining in. And lastly, I want to especially appreciate my ESCOs too, because yes, the webinar is being planned by the committee, but the ESCOs also put hands together to make sure that everything works. So special appreciation to all my ESCOs here present, Michael, Inioluwa, the ESCO in charge of the committee, that's our secretary, and my deputy state chair, Samuel, and Abdul Afiz is here. The PRO is not able to join because she has some assignments in church. So thank you everyone once again. I appreciate you all.
All right, thank you so much, ma'am. That brings us to the end of this scholarship edition. See you next year. This particular call is to be available on our YouTube page. That's YSN Lagos YouTube page. And also, if you missed out on the previous edition, which are also very insightful, you can also get it from our YSN Lagos YouTube page. So thank you very much. Do have an amazing evening. Bye for now.